Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. I will ride with this group. Seriously, man. Please. And away we go.
Okay, we're here. A couple minutes late, but we're live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel.
Blame Royce, folks.
Royce had a nice sweater on for Royce Unchained.
Yeah.
We were just recording with him. He was
Very
on
nice.
fire today. So before we get into Feedback Friday and a snake draft of the week, Judd, let's take our audience to Quick Tripville here to start our day.
And why wouldn't we? You know what? It's morning right now. You're planning your day and you're saying, I need breakfast, lunch, I need dinner, I need a snack.
Gas tank right now, Judd. Gas tank right now.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Maybe 16 miles left right now.
Okay, ridiculous.
Plenty
ridiculous.
of time, dude.
You know where? No, it's
miles.
not. You need to get to Quick Trip. Because, and here, I know you, Dex. I know that you've got the Quick Trip app on your phone. So you and your lovely wife and the Vinster can get everything that you need at Quick Trip. While you're pumping your gas, they will come out and give you your groceries. You will get your things from Quick Trip. It cannot be easier. I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of convenience stores, a lot of bad service, not a Quick Trip. You're going to get good service, always well-stocked, always friendly. I mean, it's just the champion when it comes to getting your groceries and gasoline.
Amen. Also, thank you to Federated Insurance for helping to make this a daily Vikings podcast. Federated is like having a great offensive line for your business. If you are a business owner and you're looking to make sure you have a game plan to stay focused on safety, preventing claims, risk management, you should get a hold of Federated. They've been around since 1904, based in Owatonna, Minnesota. They are one of us, so to speak, and you can find a full list of industries that they specialize in over at federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. All right, boys. Let's get into the feedback here. I will warn you. There's some backlash this week about the tone of the show.
Oh no.
And some of the shows. Let's start with this one here from Skull VA. Okay, guys, I love you. Been a daily listener for 3 years, but I gotta say this week was a tough slog. So much freaking the F out by you guys. Two different categories of freaking out. Number one, JJ's knee. JJ McCarthy's knee. Can you at least text an orthopedic surgeon or wait, Declan texted someone
he did
medically.
actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
He did actually.
We've also all had conversations behind the scenes with some people. But can you at least text an orthopedic surgeon or maybe even Google something before you spend a whole show recalibrating 2025 expectations? Thank God for Thor bringing in some research and reason on the Thursday show. They were reducing swelling. You act like he broke his other knee. I'll stop there because there's another category of critique here. But
Declan checked in with a professional, so
I did check in with a professional, and yes, and that professional told me that, that's probably is mostly routine. Here's the problem. Nothing is routine for this franchise, which is what sparked my rant yesterday. People, nothing has ever gone according to the perfect plan ever with this franchise. It's PTSD. It's probably irrational. It's very emotional. But that's where we're at. That's how this goes. We've seen this play before.
Well, and we also, I mean, I don't know what more we have to say, but if you remember when, again, and I think I talked about this last 2 days, when this all came up originally and he had some swelling and they weren't quite sure, and O'Connell tried to, as he should, downplay it. I'm not saying the team is wrong. The team is always going to downplay everything. And the team's always going to give you it was nothing. Yeah. Don't worry about it until the guy's on the operating table and it's like, oh my God. Okay, so let's just remember. And in fact, I had a very civil, I couldn't believe it, Twitter exchange. I loved it with a guy who basically accused me of being lazy, or us and me, of being lazy for sounding the alarm. And I said, no, what's lazy is to assume the team is telling you the truth. And then he's like, well, KO is lying. And I'm like, I'm not
Mike Zimmer lied.
Well, but it's sports lying. It's their job to blow sunshine up your rear end. It's our job to sort of be like, okay, let's take this for what it's worth. But to defend us, in the show that we did, which JJ McCarthy had another procedure Nobody ever said he's out. We only said, what would be your backup plan now for 25? Nobody ever recalibrated and said, oh my God, his career is done. I mean, Declan is clearly the voice of the fan here in being, scarred by this, but none of us ever said, oh my God, he's not going to play.
I think there's room for discussion here. And if you, I think digesting it the last 72 hours or so, all right, I'm not going to sit here and panic on every show going forward, but, this is a franchise that 3 years ago told you, hey, Danielle Hunter woke up with a little bit of a tweak in his neck, but everyone just needs to take a deep breath and calm down. Like, literally didn't.
Ty to Skull.
Was like out for a year and a half.
Ty to Skull, right here at 10:12 says, ask Sharif Floyd about routine surgeries. Like, these are, he's not wrong. And look, until JJ McCarthy is playing in a real game, it's really hard to just say nothing to see here. Like we want so bad to believe that nothing is going on, and I don't really understand that. That's not the world that we live in.
Yeah, I think. All right, I think sometimes too, people want to hear what they want to hear.
Sure.
And maybe we're not giving them that this week, and that's fair. So here's the second from Skull VA. Are we being overreactionary this week? Mm-hmm. Sam Darnold is struggling, he says. 5 picks in 2 games. Some defenses figured out a weak point. It does happen. We know he's not a Hall of Famer, but we listened to Judd, and he was just the worst defender of the group. Fret and freak out across 3 different Purple Daily shows about how Kevin should change the system and all of this Darnold doomsday stuff. Can nobody reel him in? So you want KO to scheme to more tight ends and lean on the run game. He did in Jacksonville, which is a fair point. Yes, Sam still has to throw the ball past the sticks sometimes, and he will, and some will get into the hands of his receivers. I love skeptics as much as anyone, but this week was over the top for me.
Yeah, God.
All right, so I'll give him that.
He has.
You've been freaking out a little bit about Sam Darnold.
I didn't say he has to change the system. I said he has to recalibrate a little bit how he thinks about the pass game at times.
That sounds like you want him to change the system.
Which is not wrong.
Is it a surgery or a procedure?
Right. Exactly.
Are you recalibrating the system or changing the system?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about a guy who has is now tied for the league lead with 10 picks, 5 in the past 2 games, and I believe he leads the league in turnovers. So, do you want us to just say it's going to you? It sounds like you want us to pat you on the head and say, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. You're at the wrong station. You're at the wrong platform, buddy." There's a place where they will do that. I appreciate everybody in our Purple Daily family, but it drives me nuts when you come here knowing what you're going to get and then try to tell us that what we gave you, you know what our restaurant is. You know what we serve.
We serve a little panic sometimes.
Yeah,
just a little panic sometimes.
And especially...
We serve a little freak out once in a while.
Ordinarily, especially me, now probably not with the Wolves, but ordinarily especially me, but I don't know what... you're showing up at our restaurant and we serve steak and you're like, vegetarian, please. And then we don't have vegetarian.
No. I'll say this about the Darnold stuff, that even with the 5 picks in 2 games, and he's had now, I think, 2 games with a passer rating of below 50. So there's definitely been some classic Sam Darnold in here. Overall, he still has by far he has a 99.7 passer rating, and he's putting up still with the clunker some of the best numbers he's put up here. We would all take this through the first 2-3 months of the season. We would all take this even with some of the bad. And what's funny is Kevin O'Connell, the same thing happened with Josh Dobbs on a different level. He builds these dudes up into something that they've never been before in their career. And then when they inevitably get scouted by opposing teams or get exposed over the course of more starts and come back to earth a little bit, then we turn it around and, well, look, there must be something wrong with Kevin O'Connell. Or, well, Sam Darnold is garbage. Well, everyone thought he was garbage 6 months ago. He's clearly better than garbage playing in this system. Mm-hmm. He's leveling off. He's regressing a little bit. There's probably going to be a bounce back the other way once they figure out how to fix some of these interceptions. So they're 7-2 with Sam Darnold. Think about that.
I
That
know.
is that's crazy. If you would have told, there was a lot of people freaking out when they signed him back in March. This is ridiculous. Sam Darnold, this is a joke, and they're 7-2 with him.
O'Connell's done a very good job there.
Yeah.
And all I was saying was you might need to rethink a couple of things. I wasn't saying that Kevin O'Connell has done a bad job. Like there are a lot of fans, it feels like, who are saying he should give up play calling. Why? He's done a good job of play calling.
Yeah. I mean, I heard that you wanted a completely new offensive system, and it should be more West Coast rooted, but maybe I just heard that wrong.
I said that there's a guy who I think still lives here who says a lot. Who knows the West Coast system? That's all I said.
It's a kick-ass. Paul Peterson says, speaking of long names, if my parents would have carried on the family tradition, my name would have been Carl August the Fourth. Instead, I got stuck with Paul, and I've been mad ever since. We need to show John Parker Romo the error of his ways before it's too late. He needs to keep the 3-name setup.
I think he's being forced to. I've seen like 2 people, the telecast got it right, they got it like he wants, which is Parker Romo, and then I saw it in print, I think, one place, but beyond that, I'm seeing JPR.
But he wants to be Parker Romo?
Yes, he told. So Seifert said, "What do you go by?" And he said, "Parker." He said, "I go by Parker Romo." And the telecast.
Then where's the John part? I mean, then why did so? Parker's his middle name, right?
I think he likes that name more than John, so I think he wants to drop John.
It's funny though. Why were we calling him John Parker Romo?
Yeah.
Why not John? Why wasn't it John Romo? And no, I want to go by my middle name. So was he going? He was clearly going with 2 names for some period of his life.
My guess is that's what he's gone by, and so like that's what the Vikings got when they signed him and stuck it on the roster. And
his agent needs to get involved.
Well, first of all, he should keep them now because it's better. You guys are right. And my guess is until now, he has not been in a position in his mind to correct anyone. He's probably like, I'm just a slappy kicker who gets cut a lot, so I'll just go by JPR. But now he's like, I'm doing pretty well.
Boy, guy makes a couple 35-yarders in Jacksonville.
Nice to meet you. My name's Parker Romo.
PJ Romo? Parker John Romo?
PJ, well, it'd be JP Romo,
It'd be
right?
JP Romo.
JP
right?
Romo.
Yeah,
JP Romo.
I'm so confused.
It's kind of like Zebby Matthews of the Twins, the pitcher that came up.
Yep.
His real name is Daniel Zebulon Matthews.
Zebulon.
But his grandpa called him Zebby for short, and it just always stuck. But legally, his name is not Zebby. It's not even close to Zebby. It's Daniel Zebulon Matthews.
So instead of being Dan Matthews, which is just kind of a boring, basic name,
that is
he's much more marketable.
Biblical name right there.
Very biblical name, yes.
Mm-hmm. Gareth Phillips, back to the JJ McCarthy thing here. This may be triggering for some, but I would say 80% of our comments this week that came in were either Darnold related or JJ McCarthy related.
Sure.
From personal experience, having both of my knees, and I should say, we've also had at least 10 people email the show in detail about their experience with meniscus surgery and PRP injections and stuff. So the crowdsourcing on this show and this community is amazing. Thank you guys. So Garrett says, from personal experience, having both my knees reconstructed, a PRP injection is no big deal. Obviously, there's discomfort involved because the knee is a cavity that isn't supposed to have fluid in it. It feels like there's a school bus trying to push onward when the fluid is first injected. But after a few days, your knee is back to normal again and will feel much better in the coming weeks and months. Hope this comment helps reduce the panic and fear-mongers, cough, cough, Judd. And then I'll throw this one out, too, from DPEP10. Yep. I don't mind the positive. Oh, no, this is a different. Let's save this one. Because this is about JJ and his performance, some of the Thor commentary.
Gotcha.
So, anyways, are we all like? What's our current level of? Just to put this to bed, 10 being, oh my God, Teddy Bridgewater situation on the horizon. One being, why is this even being reported publicly? This is ridiculous. What is your current level of panic?
I'm at a solid 3.
Okay.
I'm at a solid 3.
I was a 5 a couple days ago. I'm like a 4, 3.5, 4 long term.
Declan, what do you got?
5, and that's because it's PTSD.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with his knee being certain. Dude, I've talked to plenty of Twins players that have had injuries with PRP injections, and it's all fine. It's all fine. And here they are missing 40% of the season year in and year out. It happens. People are just more prone to injuries. It can happen.
What people are, I think, and I've explained this, but I'll explain it again. I think what's being lost here is you have two separate things, okay? One, there was swelling, so they had to go in and look around, which means they didn't. If it had been a straight PRP injection and they knew exactly what the problem was, then it's a little bit like, okay, that's just an injection. But the fact that they were concerned enough, like they decided to go downstairs. There was a rattling in the basement, okay? And they were concerned enough that they picked up a baseball bat and went downstairs to look. And it turned out to be nothing. It turned out to be a little, let's say, a mice. But they were worried that there was an intruder in that knee. That's a reason enough to be at least like at a 3.
Let's say that happened to your house in real life, Judd.
Oh, my God.
And there was mice in your basement.
House. You know what?
Who would you call?
Well, I would call my friends at Spidex Pest Control, and I'm going to tell you right now, Spidex, if you forget PRP, forget knee problems, let's talk about mice problems in old houses, because that is a complete pain. It's not embarrassing. It happens to all of us, and it's that time of year, right? Well, Spidex is going to take care of that problem. Two trips out to my house. They have sealed up things that had to be sealed up. They have done an outstanding job. They've explained the whole thing play by play. And most importantly, I have not seen any signs of mice. I love it. And now, as you just saw right there, an offer for Score North listeners and viewers, $125 off your first service by calling 952-333-8813 or check them out at Spidex.com. If there are pests in your house, Spidex are going to handle the problem. Spidex, SPIDEXX.com.
Okay, this is amazing. I just opened up Prize Picks. And so Prize Picks, where you can win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. You select between 2 and 6 players. You pick more or less on their projected stats, and you go. They have Mike Tyson versus
let's go.
Jake Paul stuff on here. So they're giving you,
yeah, that's great.
There's a point. So this is, they love to do this where they'll give you 0.5 total punches landed for Mike Tyson. Okay, I think we'll take more. I know he's 58, but I think he's going to land a punch in this one. And so I'll find another one here, but that's glorious on Prize Picks right now. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code PURPLEDAILY to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. Prize Picks, run your game. Mike Tyson, run your game on Jake Paul. One last time, dude. 58 years old.
I'm so excited.
Is tonight's fight on Netflix normal, or is there a pay-per-view that I have to pay extra for?
I think it's just on regular Netflix. I could be wrong on that. I'm gonna go run to the adult liquor store. I'm locked in for this, baby. I am so excited.
I'm gonna go to the kids one, actually.
I like the kids liquor store.
Well, the kids you got your soda pop and your cream, your creamy oil, root beer, all that stuff. But I am irrationally excied for this fight.
Me too. And it's tonight, not tomorrow, right? Is it tonight?
Right, tonight.
Yeah. Okay, because tomorrow's there's John Bones Jones. There's a UFC thing tomorrow night.
That one I'm not as excited for.
I'm not a UFC guy.
I don't know how that guy keeps finding his way back in the octagon. So, anyways, back to the feedback here. So Thor came on. We said, let's get past the injury stuff and let's just talk about if McCarthy, the fully realized version of what he could be, steps in. What are your thoughts on what this offense could be? And Thor, who's been a huge proponent of McCarthy going back to his college days, gave us his thoughts. So DPEP10 says, I don't mind the positive JJ McCarthy takes because we all want him to be great. Mm-hmm. But my God, you guys, especially Thor, are making it seem like he will be getting his Hall of Fame jacket next year and he will be leaps and bounds better than Sam Darnold. I mean, he'll be a rookie. It seems like y'all know for a fact that he'll have instant success based off one preseason game. Let's just be more realistic. We could get the same play next year with McCarthy. He just wants us to take the positivity down a notch.
Okay. Yeah. I think he's going to be good. I was impressed by what I saw, but that point is a valid point. We do not know. He has not played a regular season game yet. He didn't get close. I like his demeanor. I like what he brings. I was impressed in practice. I was really impressed in the Raiders preseason game, but that is a fair point. We do not know. We don't know. And yes, a lot of what at least I've said personally, speaking for myself, is based on hope of what I've like seen as a start, but we aren't even near to the story being told yet. So yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I'm going to give you a couple best case scenarios here. Sitting for a year, even with the injury, and just digesting everything from life in the NFL, getting your bearings, week to week meetings and practice. And he is, even with the knee surgery stuff, he's been meeting with Kevin O'Connell. He's got the headset on for at least a couple of these games on the sidelines. He's in the meeting rooms with the quarterbacks. He's going through all the preparation. And man, when you get to the NFL, just all of that stuff behind the scenes and the details and the prep, it's complicated. So if you can sit there and digest for a year, I think that gives him a huge advantage. And if you look at, and there's probably some other examples where guys maybe sat and it didn't click for them even after sitting. But the Vikings did this with Dante Culpepper, if you remember. They drafted him 11th overall in 1999, and he sat the entire year. Super helpful for him. He comes back. He's got weapons, which JJ McCarthy's going to have. He got one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And Dante comes out as a rookie, leads the NFL in touchdown passes with 33, makes the Pro Bowl, has a 98 passer rating, throws for just under 4,000 yards. I hate to bring this next one up, but it is an example. Patrick Mahomes sat for a full year. Take a deep breath, iron out some things, get used to the preparation, soak yourself into a really good franchise here. He comes in, 23 years old, first year, hits the ground running, leads the league in touchdown passes, leads the league in QBR. Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years mostly, which is a little different. All right, dude, you've had a chance to digest it, sit behind, good organization, right? Take a deep breath, and he comes out and boom, right out of the gate. He's 4,000 yards, a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. And then he goes from there. So sitting for a year, on top of all the good things we've seen and heard about JJ McCarthy at practice behind the scenes, I'm going to continue personally to lean much more toward optimism with my discussion of this quarterback than like pessimism and skepticism. If he starts to show otherwise, okay, then I guess I'll turn on him or whatever. But
right.
There's no reason at this point to be highly, highly skeptical of anything other than maybe the injuries.
But if you are, that's fair too. So yeah, I think that it feels like they got it right. I mean, Thor is the most encouraged about the entire process. But yeah, if he starts to struggle, and to be fair, he probably will. He's going to be in his first year. He probably will struggle at times. But the other thing too is we're also talking about a franchise, because you could be like Dex and be scarred by it, but you're also talking about a franchise that is this their first QB taken in the top 10 in franchise history?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's hard not to be a little bit like, oh, okay, this is going to be fun. It's going to be so. Yeah, I'm not going to crap on this, but I also understand if you think that we are a little bit too enthusiastic, if that's your
But also, like,
opinion
what fun is life and what fun would these shows be if every single day you woke up and you thought about the doomsday scenarios for JJ McCarthy and what if he's Will Levis and
the doomsday right now is much more about his knee than it is about his play, right?
Yeah.
So like that's where it's reflected as I'm far more concerned about the knee than his play.
Okay, I have a quick question off this comment.
Yeah, you tried.
About the way that we comprehend things in society.
I knew you shouldn't have brought it up.
So Lee R says, Mackey thinks JJ McCarthy is going to be Patrick Mahomes. Okay, guy, laughing emoji. Was that the main takeaway from what I just said?
Well, you also prefaced when you brought up Mahomes, you were very careful to say, I hate to do this, but I knew right away.
Yeah.
Because that's what I heard. I basically heard
you
say,
was? He's
put him in a
100% going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
Okay. We're getting some mixed feelings about the occasional Kirk Cousins joke on the show here.
That was you yesterday.
So I'll give you two comments.
You take this completely because I had nothing to do with this yesterday.
From snow or ice hockey, I love the curt drive-bys you guys do on your shows every so often. Only a true Vikings fan understands them. Today was especially funny. Roll on the floor laughing. I just made a little Tuesday comment down.
See, yeah.
On the other side, our guy Doc chimes in and says, you continue with the cheap shots and lies about Kirk.
Lies.
It is mid-November. I guess you don't believe in karma. Well, JJ McCarthy, one operation and then a second operation. Well, it was a procedure.
Yeah, let's be very clear.
Darisaw injury, karma. I asked you to stop making fun of Kirk, but you can't. When will you learn? I need the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before I die. Time is running out. This is serious. Well, we can all agree on that. Yes, we want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl.
So
if my occasional Kirk pokes are offensive, Doc or anybody else, then
hold on a second.
I don't apologize. You're being soft, I guess, is what I
is Doc is Doc saying that Kirk like consumes our show and has voodoo dolls of all of his former teammates, and it's like if he hears a Mackey slander, he's like, "Where's my Darisaw?" He's got that thing. Bang!
He's got a Mackey doll. Like that's why Phil all of a sudden will just have like kidney pain out of the complete. Oh God, what the hell? Yeah.
I would just say it's not that serious. All right, Kirk has $300 million in the bank. His team is 6-4. It was a great trade. It was a great signing for Atlanta, and the Vikings have a better record. It's been great for the Vikings. Like both teams got what they wanted.
Yes.
Vikings got freedom from bad quarterback contracts and got better as the result of their roster getting better. And the Falcons got a professional quarterback to hit their weapons. Everyone's great. And once in a while, I'm going to make a Tuesday joke.
And they're going to play soon. It's going to be fantastic to watch.
It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, bad dad joke. Strictly hypothetically speaking, he said, where is the line for a catastrophically bad performance by Sam Darnold that makes KOC think we have to break glass in case of emergency? Nick Mullins comes in.
I honestly, after what transpired in the last two games, and especially on Sunday against the Jags, I honestly think it's Darnold being helped off the field.
So only injury you think would be?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. I think, right or wrong, and he might be right, KO thinks that if he yanks Darnold and puts in Mullins, he's actually putting in a worse version of Darnold.
He could be benched in game. Like I wouldn't be shocked if I wasn't going to be shocked if Darnold got benched during that Jags game at some point. But in terms of benching for the foreseeable future and naming Nick or someone else the starter, I think they're just going to go down with him. He's the anchor. He's either going to keep the ship afloat or he's going to literally sink the whole damn thing.
Yeah. I think it would have to be like, remember that Nathan Peterman game from 10 years ago?
Oh, God.
When he came in and threw like 5 interceptions in one half. And it was like, dude, we can't keep doing this. If he were to throw, let's say, 3 interceptions in the first half against the Titans, and it's not like the ball got tipped by a defensive tackle, it's just holy cow, he's not seeing defenders.
Right.
There was a pick from a couple games ago against the Colts where it's like, whoa, dude, he just did not see a defender. If it's 3 in the first half and they're losing and they need a spark, they have no points, I don't think we're that far away from it. I don't think KOC wants to. I think it's only, as the emailer said, a break glass in case of emergency. But I think it's within the realm of possibility if it's a disastrous first half. I will say that.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this next one, Curtis Moore here says, maybe this is like 2007 Eli Manning throwing 3 pick sixes to the Vikings and then getting hot and winning the Super Bowl. Maybe Darnold turns it around from this point forward. Yeah, Eli Manning, 26 years old at the time. Yeah.
I was at that game.
That was like November, right? That was late.
Yeah, I think Dwight Smith had 2 picks. My guy Dwight.
Yeah.
I love
Stairwell Dwight.
Stairwell Dwight.
That
Somebody
game was
get
played
Dwight
on
Stewart.
November 25th, and it was a 41-17 win by the Vikings.
Yep.
Eli Manning had 4 interceptions, adding to what turned out to be a league-leading 20 on the season for him.
Yep.
But he was almost unplayable in November, and then all of a sudden, that defense, that passing game, everything got hot.
I think that was the Coughlin team where Coughlin was like on the verge of being fired, right?
Yeah.
And they basically, Strahan and the crew went and talked to him and said, "Dude, you have to mellow out," and he did.
Yeah. What's crazy about that team going through Eli's game log? So there was that 4 interception game, and then the next week they go to Chicago, and it was training wheels, man. They went from 49 pass attempts to 27. They said, "All right, we're going to run the ball here."
Yep.
They beat Chicago 21-16, but he still threw 2 interceptions in that game.
Wow.
And then he had 2 games in mid-December, a loss to Washington where he was 18 of 53.
Goo.
33% completions.
This is very 1970s-esque.
Yes. And the week after that, this is now week 16, a win against Buffalo, but he was 46% completions, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But then they get into the playoffs, and he was gangbusters, and so was that defense. So
What a run.
But the similarity there would be Eli had the upside to, hey, if he starts getting hot, he's throwing the ball down the field, he's going to get chunks and make big plays. And the Giants' pass rush and defense was enough to fluster every opposing quarterback they played, even Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. So I don't want to directly compare the Vikings to a team that won the Super Bowl and knocked off an undefeated Patriots team, but like kind of similar formulas in that it's a pass rushing defense and
McCarthy
it's
to Mahomes. Why not? Just go ahead. Just go ahead. Do whatever you're going to do. Phil.
So Phil thinks JJ McCarthy is Patrick Mahomes, and Phil guarantees that the Vikings are the 2007 Giants.
No matter how bad it gets for Darnold, he'll get out in the playoffs.
Let's see here. Chris Noss. Seems the rumors of Darnold remaining in Minnesota are swirling behind the scenes. Maybe the McCarthy injury enhances this possibility. Could Minnesota be on the verge of trading the future face of their franchise this offseason? And he links to an SI.com article from Evan Massey, who writes,
I didn't see this.
The Tennessee Titans should pursue a bold offseason quarterback trade with the Minnesota Vikings for JJ McCarthy.
Okay, I feel like you need to give everyone right now cover.
Okay.
Because I don't want to discuss this without cover. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard, though. So you're going to take a quarterback who might be your future, and he might be hurt, and you're going to get what from the Titans? I love reckless speculation. And believe me, I've always got some percolating. This is not one of them.
It's too much, yeah.
I just can't go there.
No.
It's not going to happen. They're not going to
do it.
trade him, nor should they.
I'll propose something just for fun here. So,
all right,
the Titans have
Patrick Mahomes from the Chiefs, 3-way trade.
I think they just have all of their picks. They just have one. Yeah, they have. Well, it says they have 8 picks. So what round do they have 2? They have 2 4th-round picks, I think. So, anyways, they're going to have a high 1st-round pick, and they're going to have a high 2nd-round pick. If the Titans came to you and said, all right, I know he hasn't played a game yet, but we're frozen out of the Shadur Sanders. We can't get that high to get Shadur Sanders. So we'll give you a 1st and a 2nd, and then you kick back like your 2 5ths or like a 5th.
No.
No. Yeah, no.
And then you
I'm
sign
not.
Darnold. You sign Darnold for a couple. years.
No, I don't want to continue the Darnold experience. I'm cool. They've done a really nice job. Yeah, no, I'm.
I agree.
Totally
I'm
out.
just entertaining the premise here.
I'm totally out.
What if it was? No, we'll stop there.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
You're good.
You're good.
John from Jersey says, on Thursday's show with Doogie, you said Darnold would probably command $30 million a year on maybe a 2 or 3 year contract. Why not just offer him 5 years, $12 million a year to be the highest paid backup quarterback in the NFL? I think Darnold's camp, like, this is a once in a lifetime chance to go get a bunch of money over 2 or 3 years and prove that you're a starter. I don't think he's after this year.
Right.
He's not going to lock into being a guaranteed backup for 5 years.
Well, and he's still, we don't know how things are going to play out starting on Sunday against the Titans, you guys, but he is still very entitled to take the body of work from the start of the season, by the way, against really good teams, and use that. So it's not, yes, lately it's been rougher, but he still has, hey, I started and he started against good teams and he won games. So I don't think he has any interest in coming back as a backup unless he completely falls apart now and it just gets so bad that he's not going to be signed. But as of right now, I think you're exactly right. I think he's got the ammunition to go get that one contract, changes your life, you're set up. And you know what? If you fail, you're still set up for life.
Yeah, he's going to be, I know from our standpoint, we sit here and say, man, if the problem is if you go to a bad organization and the infrastructure is not right, or you don't have a Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson, then your career is just going to derail again. I don't think Sam Darnold and his agent and their egos are going to be leading with that thought.
Right.
And B,
agreed.
It's all about money first. This is your chance. You become a professional athlete. He had a nice little contract as a rookie, as a high first-round pick, but if someone wants to offer you and your family and generations of Darnolds like $70 million guaranteed,
yes,
you'll figure the rest out later, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean, if I was him personally, I would probably be careful, but also let's just say hypothetically he gets one offer and it's the Raiders and it's really good. Are you going to say no? I don't really like your team much. You guys are screwed up, or are you going to say I'll take the, So it's more difficult than that, and I don't think he's going to. If he can get the bag for 3 years or come back for 5 years and get $12 million per year, I think he's going to take the bag.
Speaking of the Raiders, did you guys see Barstool signed John Gruden yesterday?
Yeah.
And they had him on a live stream watching the Thursday night football.
Yeah, he was great.
Man. So John Gruden goes from 10 years or whatever it was in the Monday Night Football booth to back in the NFL, multiple years back trying to rebuild the Raiders, right?
Yes.
To now doing crazy TikTok videos and sitting around with Portnoy and Big Cat and just cutting it loose on these Barstool live streams.
It's perfect, though, because Portnoy and Gruden hate Goodell. They both absolutely hate Goodell, so it's the perfect marriage.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Last night he was going in on like analytics nerds.
Yeah.
That they always want you to go for it. Go for it. All right, I'll go for it. And then what happens when you don't get it? Guess what? I turn around and give him a big F you, and he flips off the camera.
That's great.
Okay, I know you guys are going to be not happy that I'm going back to this, but there's been some chatter in the comments here. Just for fun here, okay? Bo Brunsvold says, Titans offer 2 first-round picks and star defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons for JJ McCarthy.
Why not throw in Earl Campbell, too? And
Eddie George?
Yeah, just...
Pretty old. Eddie George is pretty old at this point.
If you give me 5 pieces, I probably do make that trade.
And then you draft Cam Ward or Shadur
2
Sanders.
first-round picks, Jeffrey Simmons, ain't happening. But I like it.
Oh, man. If you don't get the reckless speculation lifestyle, then this is...
That's right.
Reckless speculation.
Probably too much. And then, where was this other one here? There's another one in here in the comment section before we get to our snake draft of the week. I lost it. I can't find it. You guys want to do a snake draft here? I think this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this one. I love the topic. I didn't even have to make a list because I've got so many off the top of my head.
It's great.
It's ballsy. Okay.
The snake draft of the week, presented in part by Underdog here. They should put. It's going to be TV dads, by the way. They should put They should put pop culture things on these platforms.
I like that little draft. I mean, you can draft a new fantasy team every week for all sports, like every day for that matter. Why not just do TV dads? I like that idea. Promo code SCORE though, 50% deposit match. I'm definitely going to be riding some Will Levis interception juice. Little over a 1.5 interceptions for Will Levis. Very excited for this week's slate of games. Go to Underdog, promo code SCORE for a 50% deposit match. Keep sending me those pick'ems as well. Love to see all those big wins from our Purple Daily audience at Underdog.
Hey, I saw a comment like 10 minutes ago. It said, Judd looks like he's down about 15 pounds right now.
Oh, that's exactly right. In fact, that is very, very good. And that is because of my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers who have helped me drop weight twice now. You know what? The first time I dropped about 40 pounds. And then I gained a few back. And I said, Sports Dad, you need to lose that weight. Where should I go? And I said, of course, I should go to my friends at Livia because they're going to help me look like that, which is in shape, looking fantastic, if I do say so myself. And right now it's time for their annual Friends and Family event. Lose up to 10 pounds. That's right, 10 pounds in your first 2 weeks and save 50% off Livia's award-winning nutrition program. They also have GLP-1 weight loss meds as well at just $199 for the first month. They're going to help you drop those pounds, and it's this simple. Just check them out. 855-GO-LIVEA. Livia.com, inside or outside the state, because the whole thing can be done virtually. Livia, it's easy, it's full of support, it's a program that works. Livia.com. If I was to do a snake draft of my favorite weight loss places, Livia would be 1, 2, and 3.
Wow. I guess if I were to do a snake draft of products that I use on a regular basis, AG1 would be right there in the mix. Taking care of your health shouldn't be as complicated as it is sometimes. AG1 looks to simplify this by replacing multiple health supplements like multivitamins, digestive aids, immune support into just one simple scoop or one simple travel pack. Trusted by top athletes all over the world, AG1 is a simple and comprehensive foundational nutritional supplement for whole body health. Each scoop of AG1 contains whole food sourced ingredients that support gut health, focus, immune health, and more. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and a handful of these AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/purple daily. Drinkag1.com/purple daily.
Let's do this.
All right. The snake draft of the week. The last handful of snake drafts, which you can find the results and the voting on the Score North Twitter account and also on the Purple Daily Instagram account. Candy, most hated opposing franchises in Minnesota sports. Worst T-shirt stains. Movie villains. Done a bunch of fun ones lately here.
I also have I don't think you have access to this, Phil, but AJ has a kind of a draft of all the statistics and all like the best wins, the worst wins. So for example, the highest percentage of win percentage of votes was Judd's most hated opposing franchises. Judd got 61% of the votes.
That's impressive. Wow.
On the contrary, the lowest percentage that anyone ever received in a snake draft was Phil Mackey's bar foods at 3.4%. That was the infamous ahi tuna crisp.
It is funny how many people have come up to me and profess their love for ahi tuna
you
crisps
love
in private. They're all like,
you and
around me?
Yeah. Well, let's see as I sip my wine here in this bar. Where are my ahi tuna crisps?
Closest margin of victory, Judd beat Mackey in the State Fair Foods draft by 0.4%.
Wow.
So there's been a couple too that are
I won.
Also very close.
And who do we have the all-time win totals?
Yeah, so Judd has won 8 of 22. Phil has won 5 of 19. I'm on back-to-back wins. I've won 6 of 18.
Wow.
Our fill-in producers, AJ is actually 2 of 3. So when AJ's been on, he has won 2 of the 3 of the drafts. Ross 1 for 3 in his appearances.
Yeah. What was the voting last week?
I won. It was pretty close.
Yeah, I think it was close. I'd like a recount.
It was all collectively. All 3 of us were like within a few percentage points, but I think I sneaked it out.
Eke that out.
I love those stats, man. That's what I feel like every other week we need to update the
advanced metrics too.
He's been holding out on us with those advanced metrics.
I love how Tex says, Phil, you don't have this. You don't have access, but I do. Like it's like
great.
Declan subscribes to it. It's like the PFF of the snake draft.
I got the producers just working with me. You know, we're both
clearly.
all on our own. We're our own union here.
Clearly,
at North.
Yeah, well, how much per month to subscribe to the analytics for the snake draft of the week? What's the $15 a month? So okay, we're gonna draft our favorite or best TV dads, and I believe Judd is in line because I had the number one pick, and so I moved back to third, which means it goes Judd, Declan, me, and then I'll get the wraparound in the snake draft. 3 rounds here, gentlemen. But Judd, you're on the clock. Did you say you didn't even take notes? You're just gonna freewheel this off the top of your head?
I've got a lot of TV dads, but we're not. But keep in mind again. One is my rule is I don't draft to try to win. I draft on what I like. But also, our ages, I believe, are not going to allow a lot of. It's not like your TV dad list is going to be like mine. It's not like we grew up watching the same shows exactly. Like my guess is you were going to go heavily on the Friday night ABC stuff, which
My
Declan's
big board
way
has
too
a
young.
lot of those guys. Yeah.
Which Dex is way too young to do himself, and then I didn't watch that stuff. I mean, I've seen some reruns. You know what's
I
a
feel like
shame?
it's disrespectful to call it that stuff. Those are just some of the
what's
most
a shame?
legendary sitcoms in
what's a
American
shame?
history.
Now that I think about it, that Zach Morris, like his dad was on very rarely.
Yeah.
Like I wish he was a TV dad, but there's no real TV dad there.
And he
Like,
wasn't a great dad. He was always like
No, but I'd still
working
take-
and on his new cell phone and stuff.
But he has his brick cell phone. Brick cell phone. I'm going to have a very interesting list, though. I've got some traditional ones here. I've got some outside the box. I feel like there is no wrong way to go here. So I'm going to start off with a very controversial first one because I'm not going to take an old school one. I want to nab this one. Declan might. I don't think Phil would. But I'm actually going to go to the world of the cartoons.
Oh,
I'm going to go animation domination. I'm going to go with Peter Griffin.
he's gonna take Peter Griffin.
Oh, it's a great pick.
I'm taking Peter Griffin. Great TV dad.
Hey, Craig Meyer.
Great TV dad.
Wow,
That's a great pick, Judge.
Peter
That's a great
Griffin.
pick, man.
Peter Griffin.
He
And
was, he was
indirectly.
number 2 on my big board, just so you know.
He
Oh,
was
was
in,
he? Okay. I didn't know who
we did a little interview. He wasn't high on the board, but contingency plans were in place for Peter Griffin.
Well, I mean,
We'll
he's
say
a
that.
he's a dicey pick. The personality and the reliability are very questionable when it comes to Peter Griffin.
Yeah, by the way, like the criteria can be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't
Right.
have to be that they're like a
The
great
model
father necessary. It could just
Clearly
be that
not.
they're hilarious and they happen to be a dad, right? So
Yeah. I'm going to try to take a little bit of all those things we just talked about there. So I feel like this is maybe universally the number one pick, but give me Uncle Phil. Give me Philip Banks.
that's a good one from Fresh Prince.
Yep.
Okay. Any other thoughts on Uncle Phil?
Well, I mean, he's
besides your
he's
pick?
an incredible
Don't
father
do this
figure.
to me. Don't do this to me. When with the scene where he's talking to Will.
Oh.
And Will's been given up a turn. He's been from and the Phil's like trying to tell you're loved. You don't. And starts crying.
Are you talking about the scene?
That was a
Hold
great
on.
reenactment
Hold
of the
on.
scene right there.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the scene where Will's like father doesn't like want him and appreciate him? Are you
Yeah.
talking about that scene? Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like you weren't really close to
And
that, so I was trying to figure out which one you were talking about.
Yeah, it's basically he tries to tell him that he's loved and that his dad.
Why doesn't he want
Yeah.
me?
Why
Yeah.
don't he
Yeah.
want me? Man?
Yes.
Yeah,
And Uncle Phil's trying to
The
reassure
pool
him.
shark scene is a great episode
Yeah.
too, where he hustles the guys for the money back from Phil. Yeah, it's great.
Can we actually add an element to this snake draft where Judd has to reenact a scene involving all of these different TV dads?
Absolutely.
Okay, like we'll need a Peter Griffin scene.
Yeah, I don't like to do the voice.
Hey,
of
Craig Meyer.
Bob Killington.
Oh man! All right, I get back-to-back picks here, huh? Well, one of them has to be. Rest his soul, man. Give me Danny Tanner from Full House.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was your big boy. I
Also,
knew that
it's the only Bob Saget in everything else he did was a little dirty,
Oh, he
off
worked
color,
very blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but Danny Tanner was the kind of straight-laced, geeky, nerdy, but every episode had Danny Tanner in some sort of a 90s sweater giving great life advice to his family, holding it all together, and doing a big TV show in a top 5 market too. Be Danny Tanner.
Yeah. I would have loved to be on that set though. When Sega got done with those scenes, it must have been really.
And the outtakes when he probably sabotages.
When he plays himself in the cameos on Entourage. I don't think watched a ton of Entourage, but he basically plays
I've seen a few of his cameos.
It's so good. So good.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
And then you know what? All right, I'm gonna go animated as well here. Give me Homer Simpson.
Okay.
Give me TV dad Homer Simpson here. One of the most famous, longest running TV dads in American history. Holding it together with his high maintenance kid.
He doesn't age.
Doesn't age. It's true.
It's crazy. Yeah. All right, that brings us back to Declan here with his second pick.
Okay. I'm going to take probably my favorite TV dad. Probably my personal favorite TV dad, who anyone who was around my house growing up even would say, I can't believe your father was replicated by a very famous and a very prominent TV character. So give me Red Foreman. Red Foreman and my father were nearly the same person. My dad was a little bit more actual loving. Red is actual tough love, and my dad definitely leaned more tough love. My dad actually was a softie deep down. But Red Foreman is probably my favorite TV dad of all time. The dumbass, foot in your ass, all the great lines. I love me some Red Foreman, man.
That's a good one.
Love it. Red Foreman from that 70s show. So, okay, Declan's got 2. This goes back to Judd for your final pick of the second round.
Okay. Again, I'm going to go a little bit off the board here. So I've got a cartoon character dad. Loves to drink beer. Lots of fun. Now I'm going to go a little bit more serious. I want to protect my family. So I'm going to go to Jersey, and I'm going to take Tony Soprano.
Yeah. Tony Soprano or Tony Soprano?
Soprano.
Okay.
Soprano. Tony. Yeah, I'm sorry. All due respect to the late Vikings offensive line coach. Yes.
It's a great team. Peter Griffin and
Tony Soprano. Yeah. I mean, didn't he kill family members?
Well,
I'm not saying he has to be a great dad.
If he had to knock him off, he did, but he protected his kids.
He did what he had to do to protect
he protected his kids when his daughter complained that some guy had come up to her in a restaurant on a date, some type of, I don't know if it was a rival of Tony's, and harassed her. He went in and went to the guy's bar and knocked his teeth out.
Yeah.
And beat Tony's Tony and Peter will be a great combination.
Could you imagine those guys in a booth at a diner together?
Actually, they probably have done a scene like that.
Oh, yeah,
the end of that show. They probably have. They'll have a great whole line. Yes.
Yeah. I'll read this for the audio audience. But Lucas Charter says Judd's family will have a great offensive line.
Yes. Right. And I did say Tony Soprano because I accidentally said the name of the Vikings' late O-line coach, who was also a tough guy and probably a great dad.
All right, Judd.
All right, so I'm going to round this out. I could go with a conventional TV dad.
Pick Bill Cosby, you coward.
But I feel like Bill Cosby. I feel like my list calls for to end with a bang. So I am going to go with the late Jerry Stiller's marvelous portrayal of Frank Costanza.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you were going to go old. You were teasing that you were going to go old school, different generation on these picks, but you went aggressively 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got old school. I've got some old school ones, but Mike Brady, I thought about him. The actual oldest school one that I thought about was Ward Cleaver, the Beavs' dad, and Wally's dad.
Andy Griffith?
He's on there. You know what? I am not a big fan of the show. I'm not sure about you guys. I'm not a big fan of the show. I always found that show to be, but when I was a kid and would get home from school, Leave It to Beaver was on every single day, and I watched it a ton. So I might have gone Mike Brady, Ward Cleaver way before. I didn't get into the whole Mayberry thing. I'm not sure about
If I remember right, I believe the reruns of Leave It to Beaver would play before the start of like SmackDown in 2002. Like it because it was UPN, I think, still then.
Oh, okay.
So like UPN would have like, you know, their hilarious they literally would transition from Leave It to Beaver to Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. You know, like it was I always thought it was the most hilarious.
So black and white, so a black and white old school show.
Into The Rock trash talking.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
Vince
is
McMahon
quite
or
the
something.
transition.
It
That's
was
a very
awesome.
weird time to run
I
that
always
show.
loved that. I always thought it was so funny.
But anyway.
All right, back to Dex for his final pick here, third round.
I'm between two here. I'm
great
between
choices.
two. One that's very current. That's animated, that's current. And another one that's more in the That 70s Show genre. And I feel like I personally I would like the latter because I think it'd be more of my youth, but I do want an animated character too. So actually give me Bob Belcher from Bob's Burgers.
Oh.
I love Bob's Burgers. That's a show where I have never like binged it completely start to finish. But if there's an episode on, like on my TV or even in a hotel, which is always my big rule of do I sit and watch something, if Bob's Burgers is on TV, I'm sitting and watching it. There is some hilarious clips of Bob's Burgers. Very underrated show, and this gives me my animated person. So Bob Belcher to round out my team.
So we all wind up with an animated character of some kind. And that leaves me with the final pick here. The undrafted free agent list is going to be pretty impressive here too, man.
Oh, I got some, yeah.
All right, it's between a couple for me. Oh, we can throw out some of the undrafted free agents, but I'm going to go back. Judd nailed it. Judd knows exactly my wheelhouse. I'm going to go back to TGIF. I'm going to go to the city of Chicago, Illinois, and I'm going to take one of Chicago's finest, protecting the city and protecting his family. Give me Carl Winslow from Family Matters.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Reginald Vell Johnson, one of the great cinematic and TV police officers of all time.
I was going to say, one of the greatest cops of all time.
Die Hard, he was a cop in Die Hard.
He was
He's been
great
a cop
in Die
in all
Hard,
these.
too.
Yeah.
He's fantastic in Die Hard.
So I'll take Carl Winslow to round this thing out. Let me give you the rosters, and then we can debate over some of the undrafteds. So Judd winds up with Peter Griffin from Family Guy, Tony Soprano from The Sopranos, and Frank Costanza from Seinfeld. Dex goes with Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince, Red Foreman from That 70s Show, and Bob Belcher from Bob's Burgers. And I wind up with Danny Tanner from Full House, Homer Simpson from The Simpsons, and Carl Winslow from Family Matters. I almost took Mr. McMahon as a TV dad.
Oh my God. I had Hal from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, okay.
Love Hal. And I've seen a lot of Where's Phil Dunphy. I love that show too. That's a great show. Modern Family's great. But I just don't think he cracks my list of the other dads that I mostly grew up with and like a little bit more. Those are good ones. Hank Hill was also on my. I see Hank Hill.
Yeah.
I love me some Hank Hill. I hated that show as a kid, and then like as I became a little bit older and more somewhat sophisticated, I understood the show a little bit.
You get the humor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bunch of 90s options that were still on the board. Al Bundy, Tim the Toolman Taylor, Alan Matthews from Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go with that one.
Yep.
Alan Matthews.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna go with Boy Meets World.
Definitely on my big board. Coach Taylor from Friday Night Lights was on the big board.
Don't
Clear
like that
eyes,
show.
full hearts, can't lose.
I get why people like it. It's
I've never watched that show.
a rated show, maybe.
And then I don't know if you guys got into This Is Us, but Jack Pearson from This Is Us.
I consulted with my wife about that pick, who, by the way, always gives, and I don't think she has her team right now, but she's always, the first thing when we wake up, what's the snake draft this week? And then the moment we're done, what was your team? I want to know. She loves the snake draft. And I suggested that from This Is Us. She's like, do you want to depress everybody? And I was like, oh, he's an amazing father,
that
though.
Show, you know what?
It's a great show, but it's very
really,
sad.
I hate those shows. Every year there's a show where it's like, what can we do to make people cry? It's like, it's so over the top. They burned a house down with a crock pot. The crock pot people came out and said, no house has ever burned down because of a crock pot.
You will not see a crock pot in my house after that.
They don't burn houses down.
Did they sue?
Slander.
Is it possible they would be able to sue NBC for that?
They should have. The whole purpose of a crock pot is to leave it on simmering.
Oh, Lucas Charter says Logan Roy would have been Logan Roy from Succession.
Yeah, but I mean, he's if we're actually saying good dads, like he's the worst possible dad.
Yeah, I like it.
But
the
dad from Step by Step, Patrick, Patrick Duffy
from Dallas. Patrick Duffy.
You see George Lopez.
The one I thought about?
Never liked the Lopez show.
No, I didn't like that show that much.
Arthur,
the one I thought about was Ray Barone. Ray Barone was a great character. Now he wasn't. It's funny because the kids weren't in the show a ton, but I love that show. That was a great show.
I love South. I mean, I like South Park, but Randy Marsh is my favorite character in South Park.
Yeah.
Love me some Randy Marsh.
So yeah, let us know. Keep hitting us up in the Purple Daily YouTube comments or on Twitter/X. The voting will be up shortly on the Score North Twitter account, so you guys can maybe give Judd his 9th career win.
This is us. No, get that stuff out.
It's a great show.
I love This Is Us. Like we got Family Stone here season soon, which is like my favorite
Dawn likes
Christmas
to watch
Eve
that and
cry movie.
Yeah, I watched it once. It's good. Don't need to see it again.
Oh, it's a great movie.
It's Sarah Jessica Parker too, who just grates on my nerves.
Oh, I love SJP. I love Sarah Jessica.
See, she grates on my nerves. Her character. Because her character in that is supposed to be like annoying. Well, guess what? She succeeds. I don't want to watch it anymore.
She does it well. That's the point. You're supposed to hate her.
I know, but I don't like her already, so it's compounding it.
Jessica Parker.
Really?
Big fan. Yep.
I always thought Sex and the City
polarizing. She's very polarizing.
Overrated.
Either you hate her or you love her. There's no one kind of like Sarah Jessica Parker.
This is why Judd sticks to Flyers Capitals.
There's some great acting.
NHL
I will
Network.
say the Family Stone has some great acting. It's got some great acting, but I don't need the You know what? Here's the thing about the holidays. They're already depressing enough without watching depressing films.
Why are the holidays depressing?
Because they're a time for melancholy. They're a time to think about loved ones who are dead. Yeah,
all of my family's dead, and I still love the holidays.
A lot of people get depressed. All I'm saying is I got a lot of people who are depressed around me at the holidays. They can't be with family. Family's dead. Something else is wrong. And then you throw in my face a depressing Hallmark-like show. I don't need it.
This is why we need, I know it's hard to put movie reviews back into our lives because we're already so busy, but this is exactly why we did movie reviews. The last 5 minutes of this.
Yeah. We really should find some
space. Give me Maple Leafs, Bruins, okay? That's happy. Give me hockey night in Canada. Give me something. Give me hot stove conversation between periods. Not a bunch of people making me more depressed when I'm already around depressed people. The holidays, as a rule, I think, become depressing.
Happy holidays, everyone. If you want your Purple Daily holiday sweater, go to scorenorth.com/shop.
That's happy.
For some holiday depression in your lives. Scorenorth.com/shop.
Woe is me. Woe is me. Oh, boy. Life is tough. Blah, blah, blah.
Let's put Judd for an hour on a show ranting about the depressing holidays. See you guys.